And Iggy in a Bonnet is amazing. I will never get out of my head from the first time I watched it the way that he says aromatic herbs and garlic. He's like, it's such a gnarly way that he says it. Jarmusch's films always deal with a lot of improv, obviously, and I watched the whole of that film, which is just such poetry throughout that whole film, beautiful and funny and sad and most of the time incredibly minimal. And you always wonder, like, how much of this is directed and how much is it these actors who just have an incredible sense of timing with each other. Because Neil Young basically stood in front of a giant screen and watched it and just shredded when he was watching the film, just reacting to what was going on. And the soundtrack is a big part of why I love the film as well. I remember when the soundtrack actually came out, I bought it, and it was very different to, not very different, but just the way that it was presented. It kind of had studio recorded bits of William Blake's poetry and bits from the film and stuff intertwined with the music, and I just wanted to hear the songs. So I ended up, my brother had this huge setup in his room, and I went in and just put the video in and put the play record pause, and just would record all the songs off, particularly like as the credits roll, to get the full song, because it was just such beautiful music.
That's fantastic.
Well.
I think the DIY kind of approach there, I think Jarmusch would be very proud of that.
And me pirating his music on cassette tape. I had a really interesting tipping point with westerns, because I'd grown up seeing them on Saturday afternoons and thinking, oh God, there's another western, why isn't there something good on TV? And then when I was studying cinema at RMIT, I did an amazing semester of road movies, and most of the road movies that we studied were westerns, of course. And I got really into John Ford and Once Upon a Time in the West, and Dead Man was one of those. Dead Man was a film that I studied and wrote a really long paper on and got really inside of, and thankfully it was one of those things that you study but you don't end up hating because you've just gotten too inside it. But I just got such an appreciation for westerns, and they're amazing stories. The interesting thing about Dead Man is that it's, people call about an acid western, a postmodern western. It's such an anti-western. That scene is just so indicative of everything that happens. Throughout the film. The violence is just so sloppy and futile. It's like people almost get killed by accident. It's so wasteful. There's nothing cool about Johnny Depp. He's not a hero. He's just this sort of soft-haired, soft-skinned, baby-faced mistake, of a hero.
I think they even, at one point, they talk about, Robert Mitchum mentions his clown suit.
Yeah.
It's like you're wearing where did you get that? Is it from Cleveland?
It's just ridiculous. Everything about it is ridiculous. Yeah. But it's still a western, and it's still an amazing, it's an amazing road movie. So yeah, I was really grateful for that when study actually leads you in a direction that you wouldn't normally, and I love westerns now.